You see someone across the room and your brain doesn't wait. It starts writing. You and them in conversations that never happened, walking through a life that never existed. You haven't even said hi, but somehow you've already played out an entire relationship in your head, and it felt real, didn't it? Not just real, better. We do this more often than we admit. We see a job title and picture ourselves killing it. We hear someone's story of success, and we flash forward to ourselves at a podium, giving interviews, telling the world how we made it. Sometimes we even imagine getting lucky, winning the lottery, without ever buying a ticket, which is rightfully smart, but still. And honestly, I get it, I do it too. I catch myself imagining this channel going somewhere. Full-time videos, people writing in to say it changed their life. Meanwhile, it's not even monetized yet. But the mind doesn't care. It builds futures whether you ask it to or not. And it's not always optimism. Sometimes it's grief in disguise, regret, a version of life we miss, a different path we never take, and now it loops as fantasies we visit like rooms only we know how to find. But these imagined lives, these little scenarios, they're not meaningless. They're emotional rehearsals. They show you something. Not about the future, but about what you lack right now. Your daydreams are mirrors, and the more you play them, the more you reveal what you're missing. Psychologists call it episodic future thinking. The brain's ability to mentally time travel. It lets us picture outcomes, imagine how things might feel before they happen, and that's useful. It helps us prepare, make choices, avoid pain, but there's a line, and a lot of us cross it. We don't just prepare, we escape. We live in the simulation more than we live in reality. We get good at fantasizing, and worse at doing. You imagine yourself in that relationship, and it feels so warm, so affirming that you forget. You still haven't said hello. You imagine a creative career, but you've never opened the app, never sent the email, never shown the work. Because it's easier to imagine being brave than to risk actually being it. And yet, you still get a dopamine hit. The brain rewards you as if something actually happened. The imagined version scratches the itch, so you come back to it, again and again, and eventually the fantasy becomes safer than the attempt. But that safety has a cost. In his book on kissing, tickling and being bored, Adam Phillips wrote that we are never as much on the verge of being ourselves as when we're pretending to be someone else. You pretend you're confident. You rehearse that moment you'll speak up, take a risk, walk away, and for a second you see who you could be, but instead of acting, you rewind the fantasy. Watch it again, because acting means putting something on the line. And this is where it gets subtle. It's not that you're lazy or afraid of effort. It's that your imagined life already gives you just enough to stay in place, just enough hope to delay the real thing. You're not procrastinating your dream, you're pre-living it, over and over, until it becomes your comfort zone. There's this quote by writer Zadie Smith: "You're never stronger than when you land on the truth." And I think for a lot of us, the truth is this: we fantasize because it's cleaner than trying. It gives us control. You can imagine the relationship without the mess, the success without the failure, the conversation without the awkward silence. But life doesn't work like that. Life is mostly awkward silences. So why do we keep doing this? Part of it is psychological defense. The world is uncertain, the future is blurry, and the brain wants certainty, so it sketches it out. It draws possible lives like drafts of a book it never finishes. It's trying to reduce anxiety, trying to comfort us. But another part of it is more painful. We imagine because we haven't been honest about what we really want. There are whole pieces of us, buried desires, quiet dreams we've never given a voice to. Maybe we were told they're unrealistic. Maybe we decided we're not good enough. So instead of building those dreams, we stage them in silence, on repeat. You think it's just a crush, but maybe it's not about that person, it's about your longing to be chosen, to be seen, to feel connected in a way you've never felt before. You think it's about money, but maybe it's about the version of yourself that could finally relax, that doesn't feel scared all the time, that isn't living under pressure. You think it's about success, but maybe it's about freedom, the right to wake up and do something that feels like it's really yours. And none of that is wrong, but if you never admit it, you'll never build it. You'll just keep imagining. The more time you spend in imagined lives, the harder it becomes to live this one. You start comparing your real self to your fantasy self, and you always lose. The fantasy version is more charming, more disciplined, more loved. So you look in the mirror and feel like a fraud, like something went wrong, when in reality nothing went wrong. You just stopped showing up. It's like planting a tree in your head and wondering why the garden outside is still empty. There's this Japanese word, tsundoku. It means buying books and never reading them, because owning them makes you feel like you're growing, even if nothing actually changes. We do this with lives. We collect them, imaginary versions, alternate timelines, drafts of who we could be, if only we had started. And look, I'm not saying don't dream. I'm not saying never imagine. That's what makes us human. But maybe we need to stop mistaking our fantasies for direction. They're not a map. They're a signal, a clue, a whisper from a part of you that's been silent too long. There's a story about Franz Kafka. He used to walk through the park near his home in Prague, and one day he met a little girl crying. She'd lost her doll. Instead of trying to cheer her up, Kafka told her the doll wasn't lost. It had gone on a journey, and every day he came back with a letter from the doll telling her what she was seeing, what she was learning, how she missed the girl too. Weeks passed, and when it was time to end the story, he gave her a new doll with a note attached. My travels changed me. That's what life is supposed to do. Change you, not just in your head, but in your days, in your habits, your choices, your courage. But none of that happens if you keep living in rehearsal mode, if you keep waiting for the moment to feel perfect, or the plan to be clear, or the path to be safe. Maybe it won't ever be. Maybe you'll have to walk towards something without knowing exactly where it leads. Maybe that's okay. There's a kind of loneliness that comes with fantasy, a quiet ache. Because deep down you know it's not real, it's not you. It's a version of you that never had to risk anything, that never had to try. And eventually that starts to hurt. So what do? You start small, you pick one fantasy, just one, and you ask yourself, what part of this could I actually move toward? Not in your head, not tomorrow, but now. Maybe it's saying hi to that person, not to marry them, just to show yourself that you're alive. Maybe it's posting one video, writing one page, asking one question, not to be perfect, just to interrupt the loop. You won't feel ready. That's part of it. The fantasy doesn't want to share. It wants to stay untouched. But if you keep protecting it, it'll die with you. And maybe the most honest thing you can do is stop trying to preserve your imagined life and start living an imperfect one. One that's awkward and messy and disappointing at times. But yours. You're not weak for dreaming. You're just overdue to wake up, because the point of your imagination isn't to replace your life. It's to inform it. To say, this is what matters to me, this is what I long for, and then act, messily, boldly, even quietly, but for real. And if you're lucky, maybe one day you'll look around and realize the life you're living used to be the one you only dreamed of. But this time, it's real, and you built it.